Welcome back to the very hot and humid Steve's Project Car Garage. My name is Steve. Tonight we'll be working out here in the hot and humid garage, trying to get some more work on the Spitfire's tunnel for the prop shaft. Hopefully we'll be able to at least get this guy kind of fit in pretty well, maybe even tack welded or welded, I don't know. Not get crazy, but at least try to get it fit well. It is currently about 96 degrees in here. It is very hot, which is down from the 98 that we had earlier today. Humidity is about 40%, so which means it feels to be about 103, 104, something like that. It's hot. So I'm going to have the fans going, so I apologize in advance if the audio is not the greatest. But I gotta try to keep from passing out and also get some work done. Stick around, it'll be a good video. All right, so just as a recap, this is kind of where I left off the other night. So we got this guy fit in, and I found there was a bigger gap here than I really wanted. And a lot of that kind of came as a result of me trying to adjust up here. So I'm going to keep trying to adjust this a little bit. I think I can close this gap up quite easily without really kind of having to add more metal, but if I do, I can just cut out a small strip and kind of tack it in. I also went over here and I started putting these panel clamps just to try to size things up a little bit. And it does help to kind of secure it in place, but it's not really where I want it to be, because you can see these gaps are pretty big. So I'm going to try to just work on that a little bit. I know I have some cleaning on the burr that I talked about over here, and just try to get the front end of this to kind of fit a little bit better. And then I guess I'll progressively try to make my way back. Right now I actually have the shims that typically go here, back here, when that's what's actually kind of holding this guy up tight, which is nice. So I do need to get up in here and try to weld a couple of other things first. Also like trying to weld this section here. I didn't weld that. I didn't weld this over here because I couldn't get to it. So what I may do is drill it and then throw a spot weld in each one of those just to kind of get that kind of sort of situated for the time being, and then I can get it when I have better access with the body off the frame. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna check back in with you guys. This video is gonna be a little bit different because I'm not gonna show like step by step like I have been, just because it's so hot. I need the fans going. So I'll give you updates as I move along. All right, welcome back. So it's been about an hour, and I've been quite busy. So here's a bit of an update. So I've done a lot of work on this actually. So I went ahead and I welded in some repair panel there. Went ahead and I actually drilled out all of my plug weld holes on the back side. I trimmed up the burr here. And I also went ahead and I flattened out all the welds from the previous repairs. So it's not covered in a bunch of booger welds anymore, which is great. And I also went ahead and trimmed up this side. So this fits in there pretty well. Got a little bit of spring action to it. Once I throw a tack weld in there, I think it'll be just fine. So what my thoughts are next is to go ahead and pull this puppy out. Throw some paint along this edge here so that way it's protected. And let that dry. Maybe give it 2 coats. And then weld it into place and just kind of go from there. I'll probably throw a couple of tack welds in this side first, and then a couple of tack welds over here, and just kind of progressively tack it to make sure this is up and tight, and then just let her rip, tater, chip. So let's keep plugging on. All right, well, and talk about feeling a little sick to your stomach. That's where I'm at right now, but it's just with anxiety. I don't know why this part's making me nervous, but so I got a couple coats of paint thrown on that flange. Should just help protect it. I mean, obviously when everything's said and done, they'll be seam sealed and all that, so it'll be nicely sealed up. But guess really, I gotta get started. So I took the flap disc and I went along the edges, and I just took the E-coating off both sides. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by throwing in a tack weld here, tack weld over here, maybe one kind of halfway down on each side, one towards the back. Well, I'll probably actually lift the back up first and get a couple tack welds put in the arch. Yeah, and then just kind of slowly go at it. But holes are lined up, everything's looking pretty good, so I guess it's time to rip off the Band-Aid and just do it. Let's get cracking. All right, so I took a moment to set up this really cool shot, but I knocked the camera out of the way. So anyways, here's the underside. I got a bunch of plug welds put in. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but they're strong, they're there. And it'll work until I can get the tub off the frame and then get it on its side and rotate it and really kind of get in there and get it cleaned up and make it look good. So let's keep cracking on, see what else we can do. All right, cool. Got the passenger side welded in. Doesn't look terrible. It's definitely, my welding has come a long way. I ran into some issues in this corner where it seems like the floor is a little bit higher, so I think what I'll probably end up doing is just trying to like trim this back a little bit and then hit it again to weld it. But I mean, outside of that, I think that once I grind this back, it'll look pretty good. All right, so it is like 10 o'clock. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up for tonight on this part, and then I come back probably tomorrow or the day after, finish the other side. So stick around, I'll be right back. All right, happy Friday night, we're back at it. Let's go ahead and get cracking on this driver's side. Cool, got that welded in. As you can hear, I have the fans going. I figured I'd show you guys real quick what I got set up in here because it actually works out pretty nicely. So I have this big fan that I bought on Amazon blowing out. And then I got this other fan back here, there, that blows in. And so for the most part, I keep the garage door closed because you got a lot of bugs that come in. They're all attracted to the light. But in between welding and things like that, I'll open up the garage door, let these guys blast like this, and it's loud, but it does actually make a massive difference in here. Let's check out those welds. Well, I gotta say, these are some of the best welds that I think I've ever done. I'm just so pleased with how these came out. I mean, there's some spots where it's kind of boogery. Over here, I had to kind of do kind of like a bridge the gap, I think is the method that they call it, where I go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And what this does is it allows you to stitch this up. Yeah, sure, it uses a bit more wire and some gas, but it's easier than trying to go ahead and put metal in. But I'll tell you, if I tried to do that a year ago when I was working over here, forget it. In fact, I'm still unhappy with this, and this may get readdressed later. So anyways, there we are. Super stoked. We are now welded in. Let's go ahead and hit it with a grinding disc, and we're gonna clean these welds up a little bit, and then we're gonna wrap up this video. Well, let's take a look. Not bad, right? Not bad for a guy who has no clue on what he's doing. Pretty happy with that result. Now, I mean, I could definitely spend some more time with the grinder here to flatten this out if I wanted to. And I might, I don't know. But at the same time, it's gonna be all covered by carpet, so why? But let's go ahead and wrap up this video. What do you say? Well, there you have it. We have floors in tanker. And we have a center column in tanker that many said I wouldn't be able to do. I remember when I first started talking about this project a year ago, and I posted pictures on Facebook showing how I had completely ripped the heel board out and pulled out that center prop shaft tunnel. There was one individual who, I don't remember what their name was, but they said that there's no way on earth that I'll ever be able to put this car back together, and that only a master body man with a jig for this car would be able to put it back together. Well, I'm here to tell you, you made me prove you wrong. So thank you for the motivation. So with that, I just want to first thank everyone for coming in and joining the channel and following along my journey. If you haven't done so already, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button, click the bell to get those post notifications. And just know that my content's going to keep coming, man. I'm stoked. The next project on this car is probably going to be over the weekend, weather permitting, and time, of course, is to go ahead and start welding in the inner sills. It's a big move. Once I start putting in the inner sills and the strengthener, then I can like start tacking on the wings and go from there. I got to start really thinking about my paint prep a little bit more though, now that I'm getting closer. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put a poll into my YouTube channel now that I can do that because I have over 500 viewers. I'm going to ask you folks what color you think I should paint this car, tanker. I kind of like the blue. I've always wanted a cherry red sports car, but I'm also really kind of leaning towards silver. So tell me what you think. Put it down in the comments and then also vote in the poll when I make it live. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. And this is just me reminding you that on classic cars like this, please don't be the dreaded previous owner. Cheers.